got too much eye makeup on?
Anyone would think you were going on stage.
Well, in a way, I am. A lot rests on how I come across.
Are you worried you might fluff your lines or miss your cue?
I've got to stay focused and in the zone.
Even though you're just going to stand up and say a load of lies?
This is the most important day of my life.
I'm sorry, but not all of us find it as easy to lie as you do. In fact, I don't think I can.
It's you that's behind this, isn't it? You with your moralising and your hand-wringing.
Are you listening to me? There is another way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I could flee the country, I suppose.
You could simply tell the court the truth.
Change my story! They're going to throw the book at me!
They will see you as a woman who knows the difference between right and wrong.
Rather than a cold, calculated murderer.
And what, so I get a warning? Community service, maybe?
Whichever way you look at it, you're in serious trouble.
No. Because at least my way, there is a chance of me walking free.
And there's a chance you might get 20 years.
They've got to be more lenient on you if you tell the truth.
Do you know what I think? I think you care more about Charlie than you do about me.
That's ridiculous.
Well, if you're not on my side, you're on his. It's dead simple, ma'am. I lose. He wins.
We'll be starting in about 5 minutes, all right? Excuse me. Fingers crossed, you'll all be called today, although it's hard to say how long Tracy's testimony will last.
Have I got time for a quick cigarette?
You'll have to go outside.
Even I don't begrudge you one today.
Mum, wait.
Not more emotional blackmail, Tracy, please.
I just want to say I'm sorry.
Am I allowed to do Mr. Ducal puzzles while I'm waiting?
Yes, but I don't think you'll be allowed to take them into court with you.
No. No, I wouldn't do that. No, of course not.
Mum! Mum! Look. I know that I've been really horrible to you. It's not fair. You must do what you think's right. It's just I am so scared.
With your ladyship's leave, I call my client, Tracy Barlow.
Hold the Bible. Repeat after me. I swear by Almighty God
I swear by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
that the evidence I shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Miss Barlow, you lived at number 6 Coronation Street with Mr. Stubbs for how long?
It was about 6 months.
Prior to the night that Mr. Stubbs died?
The night I killed him. I'm not going to lie to you. I killed him. And I deserve to go to prison for what I did.
Miss Barlow, the fact that you struck the blow which caused Mr. Stubbs' death is not in dispute. However, what we are seeking to establish is whether or not it was an act of self-defense.
I know you're going to try and make out that he was an evil, violent man, but he isn't. No, I mean, he wasn't. He was a good man. And I loved him. And he loved me, and I'm sorry.
Would you like a glass of water, Miss Barlow?
I want to take you through the sequence of events after Mr. Stubbs discovered that you were planning to leave him.
I should never have packed that bag.
But you did pack a bag. You were planning to leave, Mr. Stubbs?
Well, he'd beaten my brother up. I didn't want to go. But, well, he had this, like a dark side. But most of the time, ask anybody, most of the time he was a really nice bloke, but... Well, when you've got a 2-year-old...
So to use your words, He had a dark side.
I could have handled him better. Packing that bag, it was like a red rag to a bull. I hurt his pride.
And what happened as a result of you packing your bag?
Well, he threatened me. He said that if he couldn't have me, then nobody would.
Were you afraid for your safety?
I was.
Had Mr. Stubbs given you cause to fear for your safety in the past?
But not like that. I'd pushed him too far. I should have tried to calm the situation.
He burned your arm in December last year, is that correct?
Yeah.
How did it happen?
Well, he didn't mean to hurt me.
But he did burn your arm with an iron.
Look, he's the one that's dead, not me. I can't bear this picture he's trying to paint of him. I'm to blame for all of this. I just wasn't a good enough girlfriend.
Going back to the night of the 12th of January, what happened immediately after Mr. Stubbs threatened you?
He went into the kitchen.
And?
And he had a knife in his hand.
And what happened then?
Look, I've said all of this in my statement. Why do I have to keep going over it?
For the benefit of the jury, Miss Barlow.
Well, I begged him to put the knife down, but he just slashed at me.
Did he actually cut you? Where, exactly?
What was on my hand, on the front and the back.
So he had drawn blood twice at this point.
I just kept thinking, this isn't him. This isn't my Charlie. And I was yelling, please, Charlie, please stop, don't kill me. I could hear Amy crying upstairs.
Take your time, Miss Barlow.
I just grabbed the nearest thing to hand.
Go on.
Well, I closed my eyes and I took a swipe at him. I just thought that if I could catch his arm, I'd throw him off balance. I could hear Amy crying louder upstairs, and I wasn't aiming for his head. I just wanted him to drop the knife. I wanted him to stop.
Have you ever tried Sudoku, Deirdre?
What? Oh, no, I'm useless at puzzles.
How about you, David?
No, I haven't, actually.
You don't have to be good at maths. Once you get going, they're addictive. Might help to take your mind off things.
Well, I don't want my mind taken off things. I want to think things through, you know, get my head straight.
Sorry. I'll be quiet.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. It's just terrifying.
Remember, it's not just Tracy we're fighting for today. There's victims of domestic abuse everywhere.
He lay there completely still. It was like I was in a dream or something. Amy was still crying.
And at this point, you called the police.
Well, it's all a bit of a blur, really, but pretty soon after, yeah.
And what did you say to them?
I said, I think I've killed my boyfriend. I wanted to get an ambulance to him. I was hoping he'd still be alive, and he was. But not for long.
Thank you. No further questions.
Miss Barlow, when Mr. Stubbs attacked you with a knife, he cut your hand twice, is that correct?
Yes.
So your hand was bleeding when you grabbed the ornament?
It must have been.
So how do you account for the lack of your blood on the ornament?
Well, I don't know, really. I must have grabbed it with one hand, I suppose.
Ah. Perhaps you'd like to show us. Would you hand the exhibit to the witness, please? Is this the item that you used to defend yourself?
Yes.
When you took a swing at Mr. Stubbs, you were holding it in your right hand.
Well, I wasn't really thinking what hand it was at the time.
But you were holding it with one hand.
Yes.
Could you show me how, please? Just show us as best you can how you picked up the ornament. And now could you show us exactly how you struck Mr. Stubbs? You seem to be struggling, Miss Barlow.
Well, I wasn't at the time.
No further questions.
There are too many men like him out there, and sadly there are too many women like Tracy too.
Your ladyship, can the witness be asked to describe relevant facts and not provide biased opinion?
It's highly relevant. Tracy wasn't his first victim, you know.
Mrs. Peacock, please confine yourself to answering the question you are asked.
My mother-in-law... Well, she's not actually my mother-in-law because... Well, her fiancé died tragically on the day of the wedding, but her daughter...
Mrs. Peacock.
Her daughter, Shelley, lived with Charlie before Tracy. It was the same story. He had her, so she was scared to go out the house.
Mrs. Peacock, I cannot allow you to continue like this. Members of the jury, I must instruct you to disregard any of the comments which you have just heard.
I'm only telling the truth.
Mrs. Peacock, did you keep a diary of incidents which caused you concern?
Yes, I did.
And what prompted you to keep this diary?
It was after I found she'd been locked inside her bedroom.
By whom?
Who do you think?
Just answer the question, please.
It's funny you should say that, because Tracy tried to cover for him as well. It was the same when he burnt her arm.
You were present when that happened?
No, but I heard her screaming. She tried to make out it was an accident. She was under his spell, you see. It wasn't until he attacked her with a carving knife that she finally stood up to him.
You were a keen observer of events at number 6 Coronation Street.
If you're saying I was interfering, then yes, I was. I wish I'd done more to stop him.
Did you ever approach Mr. Stubbs to voice your concerns about his relationship with Miss Barlow?
He's the last person I'd talk to.
So you didn't feel any need to get the other side of the story?
I knew what was going on. Besides, he could charm the birds off the trees, could Charlie Stubbs.
How did he behave with you?
He was, civilised. But I think he knew I was onto him.
So, despite the fact that he was perfectly civilised towards you, you were quite content to form your own opinion, jotting it all down in your diary?
I was very concerned about Tracy's welfare, with some justification as it happens.
Were you on any medication during the period that you kept your diary?
What's that got to do with anything?
Could you answer the question, please?
Yes, I was.
What type of medication?
Antidepressants.
Could you tell the court why?
Gladly. I'm recovering from postnatal depression.
Is it true that you were sectioned under the Mental Health Act?
I don't see what that's got to do with anything.
Mrs. Peacock, I am merely trying to provide a context for your key interests' well-being.
No, you're not. Trying to blacken my name.
One final question. Did you ever, at any point, witness Mr. Stubbs abusing Miss Barlow?
It was always
A simple yes or no will suffice.
No.
Thank you.
No further questions.
Then we shall adjourn until tomorrow morning.
Court, rise!
Bravo!
Well, I've got to fight my corner. Seems that you lot are dropping like flies.
Yeah, your rendition of Blind Devotion was very compelling. Utterly convincing.
Amy, go in the other room and watch the telly, good girl. But did it convince the jury, Dad? That's what really matters.
Hard to tell.
You see, I don't think so. The prosecution really got stuck in. I thought it was all slipping away until Claire came to the rescue.
Yes, well, she obviously bought into your little scheme from day one.
Yeah, but then they went and painted her out to be a loony. Did you know she'd been sectioned, Mum? Mum, I am really desperate. I am staring down a barrel here.
Tracy, don't.
It's all right, Ken. I know what I've got to do. No matter what I tell myself, she's still my daughter. And she needs my help. Charlie was an evil man. If I'm not on your side, I'm on his.
Oh, Mum, thank you.
Don't know. They never tell you anything, do they?
Oh, look at it.
What are you looking at?
Nothing?
It's going to be all right. I've got a good feeling about this.
Court, rise!
I don't like the look on their faces. Fingers crossed, eh?
Please stand. Could the foreman please stand? Have the jury reached a verdict on which they are all agreed?
Yes, we have.
Do they find the defendant, Tracy Lynette Barlow, guilty or not guilty of murder?
Guilty.
This is not right. What are they talking about? We've got
No!
a strong one for Tracy.
No, you've got it wrong. You've made a mistake.
I knew it.
Order, please.
David, sit down.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Tracy Barlow, you have been found guilty of murder, for which there is a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment.
Oh, Tracy.
I've heard submissions from defence and prosecution, and I'm recommending that you serve a minimum term of 15 years in prison before you will be eligible for parole.
No!
Take her down, please.
No!